Hello everyone. So it is Devabrata. So as it is the first chapter of your programming journey, I would request you to go through the link that will tell about my journey in this programming world. So all the links you will be able to click at the details section of this video. Okay, so please go through that once. So about myself, yeah, I am a slow learner and I struggled a lot during my initial days. I started programming in my college days. It was pretty late, but I was really scared of doing programs in my first 2 years in my graduation days. So everyone surrounding me used to tell me many technical terms like JVM, like hacking. They used to talk about them between themselves, about for loops, everything. So I thought that programming is not for me, at least. So but somehow it changed. You can visit my blog to view that story. I have written everything there. Okay, so you can go through that. So from myself, if you ask me, I will only tell time is precious, so do not waste the time. Okay, so today we'll be starting our programming journey. I have named it this chapter as starting programming. So for initial few chapters, I would not care about your academic syllabus. I will make you understand why we are doing programming in real world. It is not because of it is in your syllabus. It is not because of that reason. Actually, when I was in school, I used to see many STD booths in my area. So, but no, nowadays everyone recharges their phone, even you as well, using your mobile apps. There are multiple mobile apps like Paytm, Freecharge, lots of that, lots of them actually there. So people book the train tickets, flight tickets, even in online apps. But in my childhood days, I have seen like they are going to rail booking center to book the tickets. But nowadays everything has been changed, especially after this COVID-19. People are using online platform more, sending money through apps, sending means doing everything. Even I cannot remember when I went to my bank last. Previously, actually, previously there was one person in bank I used to see who used to print passbook, bank passbook, but now it is automated. In beside SBI in India, they have invented one app, like one machine like Swayam. So the machine name is Swayam. So automatically the passbook is printed by that machine. So even you can see some e-lobby for the banks. So e-lobbies are basically, it has few machines which can do anything without human intervention. You can also search about IBM Watson. So what is IBM Watson? IBM Watson is a automated service. You can say it has AI. AI means artificial intelligence. It has. So recently I have heard that this machine won a case against a human lawyer in some American court. Okay, you can search that. You can find out the autopilot mode. I think you all know our flights run on the autopilot mode. So actually machine drives the flight uh, at the height of few kilometers in sky. So there is a autopilot mode. Even there is a news going on, means I was hearing, I was checking, in Japan they were testing driverless car. Just think, driverless car in the road. So you might be scared of after thinking, even like a driverless car is going on in Indian roads. So anyway, so even you have an experience, you might have an experience to play online games, even computer chess game. So what happens there? Is there any person behind the scene? I guess no. All of them are programming. So actually machine does not have any brain or intelligence. It is just the programming. Everything is written so well that we make mistakes sometime by considering that machine is playing the game. So it is actually not like that. So I would recommend you to go through these links. Okay, so like IBM Watson on a case, as a lawyer, I have already told you. Apart from that, the second topic is very interesting. Like two chatbots start talking and invented their own language. It is very scary even. So you can search that. Okay, in Google, just type these phrases in Google window, and you will be able to get the details. So world first robot citizen Sophia. So there are many topics like that. If I get time, I will discuss the same in some other day. So you can go through them. So, okay, so before starting the program, I would request you to start with a small app. Okay, we would be creating some app. Okay, so suppose if I ask you, like, what is your height in centimeter? I think we all know our heights in foot. So let me go to the my online browser first. And suppose if anyone asks your height, so suppose your height is 5 feet or 6 feet. So if I ask you what is your height in centimeter, so how do you calculate? So the easiest way is to type in Google foot to centimeter converter, right? So suppose if I give my height is 6 feet, say, so it will give 182 automatically. So I don't think there is anyone behind my computer or computer browser who is calculating this for me. It is all about machine. So I will try to create some apps like this. So we have multiple like this here in Google. We can change temperature. We can change means Celsius to Fahrenheit, or we have many options, Kelvin to Fahrenheit, and many more. Even we can change time, means 1 second means how many minutes. So suppose let me write 100 seconds. So it means 1.66 minutes. Look, right? So if I write 120 seconds, that means 2 minutes. So all the converters are available here. So this would not be in your syllabus, but still I would like to create an app for you, because Excel is everyone has Excel in their machine, but this Excel programming you would not have ever in your syllabus, I can say. So how can we create a small app, a demo app? After that, I am going to the going to today's topic, the programming language. So how you can create an app in this Excel sheet? So you have to do one thing before. I have already adjusted this developer tab, but by default you will not be able to see this developer tab in your Excel ribbon. So what I need to do, I have to go to file and options. It may vary as per the Excel version in your computer, but it should be somewhere around here, customize ribbon and developer. Okay, so if I uncheck it, it will not be visible in the ribbon. If I check it, it will be visible in the ribbon. Okay, so I have currently a developer tab. I am let me go into the insert button, and I will introduce one command line button like this. Okay, let me do it quickly because this will not be in your syllabus, but don't skip the video. Okay, just learn it because this is the first thing I am showing you. So after that, we will be jumping into the program. Okay, let me bring some text box, two text box, and third one, where is that? Sorry, text box, yeah, this one. So 3 text box. Okay, the name of the first text box is text box 1, you can see here. The second text box name is text box 2, you can see here in the name box. Third text box is text box 3. So, and let me change some the visibility of these buttons. Let me go to the properties. Okay, and here I will write, what is the caption name? Caption. Yeah, here is the caption. Let me change it to submit, or just a plus. Give me plus. So it will there will be a plus sign visible on the command button. Okay, I can do many more stuff like give some shadow, give some colors. Okay, let me go to the property of this text box. I can change the color. You can do it by yourself. It is very interesting. Okay, let me change the color of this box. Okay, I'm not doing much. Okay, so I am done with that part, the designing part. So now what I will do, let me directly double click on this button. Look, Now I am inside this button. So what I will do, I will introduce three variables, and this is Visual Basic coding. Okay, we do not have Visual Basic in our syllabus, and it will not be ever after in your syllabus. So do not need to learn. Just check what I am doing, how these apps are working in our in our world, the real world actually. So I have introduced three variable A, B, C. So now what I will do, I will take the input from text box 1. So from A equals to, A will take the value inside text box 1. So don't go for the syntax. I am writing everything because this will not be in your syllabus, but it is pretty interesting if you want to understand what exactly your program is doing. So like this, after that, in text box 3, so what I have done, I have taken the value from text box 1 and put that inside the A variable, and the value from text box 2 and put that inside the variable B. So after that, I have calculated the sum into C, and at last text box 3 dot text equals to C. So I am displaying the value of C into text box 3. Okay, let me do that quickly. Let me close this. So whenever I will be double clicking on this button, I will go inside the code. So what I will do, I will just turn this design mode to off. So whenever design mode is on, you can double click on the button and you can go inside the code. But whenever design mode is off, here is the design mode. If it is off, then you cannot go inside. Okay. So let me give two value like 20 and say 30. And if you click on plus, look, 50 is coming. So that is pretty much interesting. Okay. So that is interesting. So suppose there is a requirement like, okay, let me turn on the design mode. Suppose there is a requirement to change hour, I will give hour, and I will give say minute, and in return I will get second. So what will happen? I do not need the second checkbox then. So what I will do, whatever there inside A, I will calculate. C equals to or B equals to A into 60. And I will display the value of B inside text box 3. Let me close this quickly and let me delete this one because I do not need this anymore. So let me place it, and I can put some color here. Let me put some color to make it more visible to you. Let me choose some other colors like ash color. Okay. Anyway, I can do many stuff, so I'm not doing that. My motive is to show you how the programming are working, programming logics are written. So okay, let me turn off the design mode. So let me click on this. 20 minutes means 1200 seconds. Okay, so 2 minutes and it is 120 seconds. I can change this plus sign because it is not giving me the correct representation what we are doing. I can write like in caption, I can write convert to seconds. I can give a message like this. So look, now turn off the design mode. Let me click it 120. Let me give 5 minutes, convert to seconds. Whenever I will click, it will give me 300 seconds. So you can do many things. We can write so let me do another one quickly. I can calculate the area of rectangle and perimeter. Many things I can do. So let me do it quickly. That will be the last programming in Excel. After that, I will move to the. Okay, why I am bringing this? Okay, let me bring this button. Just a minute. I will create two buttons actually. One for area, another for perimeter. So this button will be for, okay, it will be showing perimeter. And this button, let me change it to area. Okay, correct. So I will introduce one text box here to take two sides of input, and I will introduce another checkbox to print the perimeter. I'm not putting any color inside. So, okay. So what will I do? Let me check the name. The name of this, but name of this text box is text box 2, and name of this new text box is text box 4. Okay. Let me go inside the area. So what I will do, I will take text box. I will take a value from text box, and C will be what is the rule to calculate the area of a rectangle? It is A into B, side 1 into side 2. And for perimeter, it is 2 into A plus B. So it is really a cool stuff. You can create your own app to do all the mathematics. Okay. So let me give the answer D. And text box 3 will show the value of C. And I need to do one thing. I have one extra value now, variable. So I have to, don't go for the code. I am writing it for you. Just just check the logic. A is taking the value from first text box. B is taking the value from the second text box. C is calculating A into B. D is calculating 2 into A plus B. And after that, I am showing those variables. Okay. Let me close this part. Let me turn off the design mode. Okay, now let me give some values, 10 and say 4. I do not know what is the answer. So okay, look, area is 40. Okay, I have introduced another button. I think I do not need to write any more logic. If you want, you can write a logic inside this button as well, and it will open another set of function. So I think I do not need this button. One button is enough. Okay, so everything is clear. So in the similar way, okay, what I want to say, this is a visual basic code. So in similar manner, we can create our own logic using our programming language. It might be Python, it might be Java. The logic is same for any language. Okay, so let's now move to our coding part. So to start this video or to start this tutorial, I do not require any prior knowledge. If you know anything, just I will recommend to forget the same. Okay, because I do not need anything from you. I just need the time in your hand. You need to practice all of the exercise I will show you now. So you need to practice all of them in your compiler, okay, in your computer or in your laptop by yourself. Then only you will be able to understand. I may be a bit fast or I may be a bit slower during the tutorial. So it will be good if you can pause the video and do it by yourself. If needed, you can go back and check the video once again and again do it by yourself, okay, in your compiler. Then it will help. And after the tutorial, there is a lesson. Okay, there is an exercise. You can go through that. If you face any doubt, you can come back to me by sending a mail or by commenting in this video. You can ask for the help if you have any query or any doubt. Okay, so let's start the first chapter, the starting programming. Okay. Okay, so let's check our first program in C. So we will check first some mathematical problems, but before starting that, I want to tell you one thing. You can use this programming sense or programming language to solve your mathematical exercise in your academic mathematics syllabus. So whoever is watching this video, if you are in school, you can use programming to solve your school mathematics. Use computer like you are a boss and ask the computer to do all the mathematics for you. You might use this programming knowledge for your cousin, for your brothers, but in one condition, that you cannot tell this to your mathematics teacher that I have suggested this shortcut to you. Okay, so anyway, so our first programming that we will solve in language C is find the sum of two numbers. So if you, as it is your first program, and if you do not have any compiler installed in your machine, do not need to worry, because all of your programs can be done, all of your programs can be done in the online compiler itself. So what is online compiler? Just type in Google online C compiler. Okay, and there are lots of online C compiler available. So you can do anything that can be done in your compiler, that can also be done in the online compiler as well. So let me open the first one, that is from online GDB. So I use this compiler actually because there is no meaning to install multiple software in my machine. So it is better to use the online compiler as well. So I do not require these upper lines. Those are basically the comments one. So for initial 8 or 9 chapters, I will say, or first 10 chapters, you do not need to understand what is the meaning of these lines. Hash include std io.h int main. You do not need to know the meaning of this line. Okay, if you know, just forget for the time being. Okay, if you do not know anything, that is good. Okay, so I will concentrate on only this part. Okay, so let me first print my name. Okay, so if I hit on run, it will print my name in below, Devabrata. So if I write Devabrata Guha, so it will just print Devabrata Guha. So whatever you will be writing in this part, that will be printed as it is. So now what I will do, it is asking for find the sum of two number. So what you need to do, you need to take two variable first, int a and b, and to hold two different number, and to put the sum into a third variable, you need to put a c. If you do not know what to take, just ignore C for the time being. Int A and B. So I will put a number inside it. Say it is 10. Semicolon. So after each line, you have to give a semicolon. A equals to 10. B equals to 5. Simple lines. Just you need to put semicolon after each and every line. So A equals to 10. B equals to 5. Okay, now I will hold, or I will put the sum of A plus B into C. So I need to introduce another variable C. C equals to A plus B. That's all. And now we are using three variables. So we need to mention all the variable names in the first line, or means at the top of your program, means int abc. If you have used another variable, say d, you have to mention int abcd. Okay, it's clear. So now I'm going to print the sum c, because sum is kept inside the variable c. So the sum is c. Okay, I'm not concentrating. Look, I'm not concentrating the top of the lines, the below lines. I'm not concentrating. Okay, I'm just focused on my program, and that is these few lines only. Okay, so if I print the sum is C, let's check what is printed by the compiler. Look, the compiler is printing the sum is C because computer is full. Computer do not know anything until you have written something. So what I will do now, I will ask computer, I do not need to print C. Rather, I need to print the value inside of the variable C. So what I will do, I will put a blank. And I need to fill this blank using the variable C. So C will be placed outside the printing statement. And percentage D means a blank, basically. Means it is a blank. Means fill in a blank type of blank. And you need to fill it by the variable C. Means the value inside the variable C will be printed here. So let's check first. Do not think much. Let's check. It is very easy concept. So look, the sum is 15. So if you put C inside, if you write C inside, it will print the sum is C. But if you print percentage D, it means it's a blank. Okay, clear? So now we can do some cool things, like I can use the sum of percentage D and percentage D is percentage D. What does it mean? Means the sum of some blank and some blank is some blank. So first blank will be filled up by D, the second blank will be filled up by D, and the third blank will be filled up by C. Let's check. Look, the sum of 10 and 5 is 15. Now, if you change the value, let me give 20 here and let me give 50. So it should print the sum of 20 and 50 is 70. So you can check this in your online compiler as well, because all of you have some smartphone and internet connection, and you can check this out as well. So look, the sum of 20 and 50 is 70. So you can try this in your online compiler or in your compiler even. So that's the thing. So now what I need to do, we have already printed our first programming in C. So let me check what else is there. Find the area and perimeter of a rectangle. Fine. I think some of you, this is a part of your mathematical exercise as well. Enter two sides of a rectangle and find the area and perimeter. So what I will do now, let me delete everything. And again, I'm repeating, I'm not deleting the rest of the lines. Look, I will only concentrate the lines, the first few lines written inside main function. Okay, so what I need to do, I will introduce some variable like S1, S2, side 1, side 2, if needed, area, perimeter. Okay, so I have introduced some of them. So after that, S1 equals to, let's say, 20, and you need to give semicolon after each line. S2 equals to say 10. And now you know the formula of area. It is area equals to S1 into S2. And perimeter equals to, you can give any name to your variable. It might be perimeter or it might be P. You can use anything. You can use anything. You just need to introduce the same variable at the top of the program. For the time being, I am taking some meaningful name. It seems easier for me to if we take some meaningful names. So anyway, so 2 into S1 plus S2. Okay. I know all of you are better in mathematics, better than me at least, I can say, because I have done my last mathematics in my college days. So you all know this formula very well, like area equals to S1 into S2, side 1 into side 2, and perimeter equals to 2 into S1 plus S2. So S1 means a variable. You can take any name here. I can take X or Y. You can take any name. There is no barrier in the name. So just you need to introduce the same name at the top. So you can use any name. I'm repeating this. Okay. So let me change all of them to make sense, like you can take any variable. So I have to replace all those variables. Okay, X and Y. Now it's okay, I guess. So let me print. So I need two print statement here. The area is percentage D, and percentage D will be filled up by area, the variable name. Okay, and the second statement will be, let me just copy paste, and it will be perimeter is percentage D, and it will be filled up by the variable peri. Okay, and another thing, you can use any variable. Let me do it A and P to make a sense. Okay, I am doing this to make a sense, like we can take any variable, but you have to use A and P always. It is not like you have to use area and perimeter even. You can use any name. You can give X, Y, Z, A, B, C, anything. So let me run this. So I have used A and P variable only. So let me run it. Look, it is giving area is 200, and perimeter is 60. But one thing, both of these lines are printed in the same line. So to separate the line, you need to put a /n. So /n will not do anything except printing a new line. It will not print /n. /n means a new line will be printed. Look, last program we have done, it is being printed in the same line. Now let me run it again. It should print now in the separate lines. So if you give 2/n, that means 2 lines will be inserted. Look, in between 2 lines will be inserted. Yeah, 2 lines has been inserted between area and perimeter line. Look, okay, cool. So I think you are clear now. Find the area and perimeter of a circle. Very good one. So to print the area and perimeter of a circle, what I need to do? I have to take one variable only, because circle has only the radius. So I can introduce a variable r even, or let it be x. So you can take any variable. I'm repeating this because this is the first chapter of language C. So you have to be flexible enough. Okay. So do not think much. You can take any variable. So x equals to, let's say, 10. Okay. And what is the formula to determine the area of a circle? It is pi r square, if I am not wrong. 3.14 into r, into x, because radius is x in our program. Okay. So 3.14 into x here. And what is the rule of perimeter? It is 2 pi r. It is pretty mathematical thing. I think you are better than me, at least in case of mathematics. So 2 pi r I have written. So that's all. I need to print it. Let's check. Look, it is giving the result correctly. I have to scroll it up a bit. Okay, the area is 314 and perimeter is 62 only. Okay, good. So let me go to the slides again. So find the area and perimeter of circle. So it is clear now. So how to do this small mathematical thing? You can do anything, like you can convert a time from minute to second. You can convert centimeter to foot. You just need to know the conversion ratio, and you need to change the temperature from centigrade to Fahrenheit. We have couple of exercise in our exercise sheet like this. Some of mathematical conversions are there. You can go through that. I will share our exercise sheet at the last of this video. So for the time being, we will go into the language C, because today we will check out only 5 topics. Okay, only 5 topics in this chapter. So the first topic is how to take the input. So it is not good to take the same input one again and again, because in Visual Basic we have checked, we used to calculate with some dynamic numbers. Dynamic means users are giving some numbers and we are calculating on the basis of user input. So we will try to do the same here. So what is our first program? First program is enter 2 sides of a rectangle and print the area and perimeter. So now what I will do, let me revert it back to our last program. Let me delete everything first. So I need to take 2 input from user. So let me introduce once again S1, S2, side 1, side 2, area. Area means AR, let it be. Perimeter means PR, perimeter. You can take any variable name. So S1, S2, AR, PR. So now I need to tell user, I need to input something from user. So what I will print enter side 1. I will give a message to user so that user will be able to understand, okay, computer is asking me to give something. So what I will do, I will just, after that, I will place a scanf line. So this is the new thing, the topic 1, how to take an input. So to take an input, just write this one. Just write this statement. So if you want to take the input inside S1 variable, just write S1. If you need to take input inside S2 variable, just write S2. If it is X, you need to take an input inside the variable X, just place X. So for the time being, I need to take an input into S1. So do not need to focus on this line. You do not need to understand the meaning of this line. Just write this as it is. Okay. So it will just automatically input your number if you write this line. So if I need another input from user for the side 2, I will be just copy and pasting these 2 lines. So I will give a message to user like enter side 2 or enter second side, anything. And what I will do here, I will just write, I will change the variable name and it will be S2. Okay. So by writing this scanf line, what I am doing, I am taking an input from user. By this line, I am taking another input from user and putting it inside S2. And after that, what I will do, the same thing like the last program we did. S1 A equals to S1 into S2, not A, it should be AR because we have mentioned AR in the earlier. So PR means perimeter in 2 into S1 plus S2. Okay, and now I just need to print it. The area is percentage D and slash n I will give, and it will be filled up by area. Same thing, I will just copy paste because I am a lazy person. I do not like to write much. So anyway, so I need to just give the perimeter is percentage D, and percentage D will be filled up by PR. Okay, so now let's run first. It is asking for, look, it is asking for enter side 1, means this line has been executed. Now it is stopped here. It is now, the program is now in this line, means it is asking for an input from the user. Now the user is me because I am running this program, I am executing this program. So I will enter a value like 20. I can give any value. Okay, now I will hit a enter. Now it is, the program is now in this line. It is asking for enter side 2, means it is stuck in this line, scanf. Okay, so whatever I will be entered, that will be inserted into S2. So let me give 5. If I press enter, the control will be in these lines, and all of these lines you can see in the compiler. So let me enter this first. Look, it is everything has been executed, and it is giving the area is 100 and the perimeter is 50. I think it is clear now. Let me scroll a bit. Some problem in my mouse. Okay, so look, enter side 1, enter side 2, and it is printing area and perimeter correctly. So let me run it once again with some other values. I will give 100 and 50. I am giving some tough number to computer. So let me check. It is giving the area is 5000 and perimeter is 300. Okay, so it is clear how to take the input. Okay, so if you need a third variable, you can print, you can copy these lines again, and you need to just change the variable name here. And the rest of the things, you do not need to understand what is the meaning of scanf for the time being. We will learn it after 10 chapters. Okay, because first 10 chapters in your syllabus, it is not required to know what is the meaning of scanf. So for the time being, we can skip it. We will just concentrate on the logic, because my purpose is to show you the logic and make you strong enough to do these logics by yourself. Okay, so let me go to the second program. It is enter your age in year and find it in days. Enter the age in year. So let me delete everything, and I will introduce 2 variables because I will require 2 variables here, one for input, one for output. The input will be in terms of years. So I will give a message to user like enter your age in years /n. Okay, and I will take an input. I do not need to think much. I will just write the lines I have learned. So it is ampersand of, this symbol is called ampersand. Okay, so anyway, I have to take the input inside y. So I have written just ampersand y. So, and I need to convert it into days. So the days will be, we all know 1 year is 365 days. So 365 into y. Okay, so days will be 365 into y. So I will print total number of days are percentage D, and percentage D will be filled up by D. That's all. And I have to place a semicolon after each line. So that's all. That's all. Let me run it quickly. Some errors. It is giving. What is the error? Total number of days are something here. It is asking. It is saying some problems are here. Print. Okay, sorry. I have not given printf. Yeah, it is sometimes it is good to do some mistakes. Okay, so you have to give printf, not print. Okay, good one. Okay, so let me run it once again. It is enter your age in years. Okay, so my current age is 31, say, or 30, let it be. Okay, so it is total number of days are 10950. Okay, I am pretty older. Anyway, so this is the way you need to take the input. Okay, you can give any value inside. You can give your age, say let it be 20 or 10, anything. Let it be 20, and the total number of days is 7,300 days. Okay, so your age is okay. So going to the next topic, because we have to cover 5 topics altogether by today's class. So topic 2 is float value. So suppose now someone asks you to input the rectangle sides in some fractional value, means you can give 3.5, 50.7, any fractional value. So what you need to do? So first let me write down the program once again. Let me take a and x and y. The first side is x, second side is y. Area is a, perimeter is b. I am choosing some different variables every time to make the sense actually. So okay, so let me write the program quickly. Enter first side slash n, and I will take the input inside x, percentage d, and it will be inside x. I think all of you know now how to take the input. I will just copy paste because I am a lazy person. I do not like to write much. So second side, and it will be inserted into y. So area, the rule of area is, I think you all know, or you can remember, it is x into y, and perimeter is 2 into x plus y. That's all. And now I need to print the area is percentage d and a, and it will be filled up by a. Or even you can write in the same sentence, the area is percentage d and the perimeter is percentage d. So it will be first blank will be filled up by a with area, second blank will be filled up by b is perimeter. Okay, so let me run it quickly first before going to the specific problem. So let me give one input like 10.2, say. Okay, and enter second side. It is not taking any input. It is saying, it is giving some, it is behaving wrong actually. It is not asking for the second side input. So what is happening basically, because I have given 10.2 as input. Okay, 10.2 I have given. But if you write int here, so what is the meaning of int? The meaning of int is integer. Okay, int means integer. And if you are good in mathematics, if you are not like me, so you know that integer means it can hold only the whole numbers. It can hold only the whole numbers like 5, 6, -5, -100, 100, 200, 5,000, anything. But it should be a whole number. It cannot hold any value like 100.5 or 10.3. So to capture the fractional values, what I need to do, I need to just float here. Just write float here. Float. Okay, and float means it can hold now the fractional value. But you need to make some small changes, like wherever we have used percentage d, you need to replace it by percentage f. That's all you need to do. So I am replacing all the percentage d with percentage f. Rest of the things, rest of the logics and everything is same. Everything is same. You do not need to focus on that part. Just it is percentage f. Okay. So let me run the program once again now. Okay, let me write one thing. Float means floating point number. Okay, or floating point number, or you can say fractional numbers. Okay, so let me run this program now once again with some fractional values now. Let's give 10.2. Now it is asking for the second side because I have entered the correct value. So let me give some top value to computer. It is 5.7 say for the second input, and it is printing the area is 58 point dot 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 some values and perimeter is 31 point dot 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 some values. Okay, so now it is clear. So how to hold the float values or the fractional values inside the variable? It is just you have to mention the variables like float, and here just the percentage. Everywhere it will be, the blank will be percentage f. Okay, percentage f means computer will be looking for something that will be filled up by a fractional values. Percentage f means, okay. And one small thing, you can write anything. You can write any comments here by giving double slash. Like I can give, I can write this program is written by Devabrata Guha. So you can write anything like that. These lines are written for taking inputs. So you can give any comments like that, but it is not important. It is the best practice to give some comments, but it is not mandatory. You can skip it. Okay. So let me go to the next problem we have. Enter two numbers and find the division. Okay. So let me delete everything now. I will enter two numbers and I need to find the division. So enter two numbers, let it be x and y, and division I will hold it into d. Okay. So what I will do now, printf, I will ask for input. Enter first number. We have already done this programming, kind of this programming Visual Basic earlier in this video or in this class anyway. So let me do it now in language C. So I can take the value in inside integer variable, because the numbers, even you can choose some float variable as well. So let me first take it inside integer variable. Okay. So enter first number, I will take it inside x. Enter second number, and I will take this inside y now. Okay, and d will be x divided by y, and answer will be, I will print the result is percentage d, and percentage d will be filled up by d. Okay, it's clear. So let me run this program. If I give 10 and 5 or 2, say, so it will give answer 5. The result is 5. It is pretty much clear. So now what will happen if I give, it is very important even. So if I give 9, cell 9, and second number is 2. So if you know mathematics a bit, it is very easy that the answer will be 4.5. Okay. So if I hit a enter here, so look, it is giving only 4. Why? Why it is giving only 4? Because I have already told the computer to take the integer values only for this variable x, y, and d. So integer, int means integer. So it will take only the whole number. So that's why the result is being printed as 4. Okay. So now if we need to print 4.5 as division, because 9 divided by 2, it is 4.5. So what I need to do? I need to do only just discard d from this line. I can take a separate variable float. Okay, and I can mention d is a float value. Okay, that's all I need to do, and I need to just print the, I need to just change the percentage d to percentage f accordingly, because d is a float value. That's why the corresponding blank will be represented as percentage f. Okay, you do not need to make any changes here. So simultaneously in a program, we can declare some integer variables where needed, if needed actually. So where it is needed to declare some integer variables, you can make them integer. If it is needed to declare some of the floating values, you can declare the variables as float. Okay. So let me run this program once again. So let me give the first variable as 9, enter, 2, enter, and now the critical thing. It is giving a float value, but not 4.5. Not 4.5. Why it is giving like this? Because it is the integer. So integer 9 by integer 2, it is an integer 4. Now integer 4, I am assigning it to a float variable. That's why it is becoming float, but before that, before assigning the value to the variable d, it is becoming 4. So integer x means integer 9 and integer 2 is becoming 4.5. It is becoming 4 only. Okay, so we are not getting 4.5 here. So what I will do now, I will just convert it into float. So this is the syntax by which you can convert a variable to float, a integer variable to float. Just check this, means no need to think much. Means I am converting the x, the integer variable, into float. Okay, and I am converting y, the integer variable, into float by writing a float only. Let me run the program now. 9 and 2. Look, now it is giving 4.50. Okay, so if you are not clear with the idea, you can go back and review this video, this part of the video, because what we are doing before doing the division, we are converting the variable into floating so that we will not lose the 4.5. Okay, so that is the program I want to show. So handling float value, how to handle float value. Okay, so we will have some more problems in the upcoming exercises regarding this. So I think it will be more clear at that time. So calculate remainder. So suppose if anyone asks, enter two numbers and find the result and remainder. So I will take, okay, result. Now I need to print it in integer, because suppose I divide 9 by 2, the answer will be 4 and the remainder will be 1, right? So let me do that. Let me take the result and let me take the remainder. Okay, so quotient and remainder, Q and R. I do not need the float now, it is done. So what I will do, let's take two input x and y, and after that I will take Q equals to x by y. So Q will take an integer value for sure, if you have understood the last problem, because we have written everything in int. So Q will take an integer value now. And after that, I will take a remainder. So this is the new thing, how to take the remainder. It is only x percentage y. Percentage means remainder. Okay, now I will print the result is, or the quotient is, anything. Percentage d now, because we are handling integer now. And the remainder is percentage d. Okay, so first value will be filled up by q and the next one will be by r. So percentage means the remainder, that's all. So suppose if we take a value like 33 and 5, so what will be the output? 33 means by divided by 5, answer is 6 and remainder will be 3. Let's check if computer is able to give this answer correctly or not. Let me hit the enter. Look, it is giving quotient is 6 and remainder is 3, right? Good. So percentage means the remainder only. Okay, so the enter total number of days and find the month and days. Suppose I have given 100 days. So the problem is, if I give the 100 days, so it is asking for the month and days. So 100 days means 3 months and 10 days, right? 100 days. Suppose I have told you, okay, I will publish my next class after 100 days, or I will meet you after 100 days. So that means 3 months and 10 days. So what I need to do now, I need to introduce three variables, one for total number of days, and output will be month and days. So three variables altogether. So I will ask the user for input a number like enter total number of days, and it will be given as dot, say, and I do not need the second input now. And what I need to do, it is a mathematical thing again. Let me delete everything now. So it is a mathematical thing. So I need to do month equals to total days divided by 30. So if I divide 100 by 30, the answer is 3. So month is 3. And whatever will be left, that will be, means whatever will be the remainder, that will go inside the day. Means if we divide 100 by 30, the remainder will be 10. So that is the number of days only. So I can use this remainder or percentage sign for determining some of the mathematical problems. So number of month equals to percentage D, and comma number of days equals to percentage D again. So it will be M and D. Sorry, comma D. Okay. So let me run this program quickly. Oh, it is giving some problem. Okay, I have again done some mistakes in the printf line. Okay. So it will give a clear message if you have done any mistakes. Just go through the error message carefully. So let me give 100 now. It is, yeah, 3 months and 10 days. Okay, let me give some other values, other tough values. Suppose I will meet with you after 500 days. So it means 16 months and number of days is 20. 16 months and 20 days. Okay, good enough, because our question has clearly said we need to print the number of month and day. It has not asked for the number of years. So I have not implemented anything. So whatever been asked, I have implemented the same. It is asking for month and days only. So quickly go into the topic 4. We have to cover 5 topics today. So enter two numbers x and y and find x to the power y. Okay, let me go through quickly. X and y and find the power of xy. So let me take two variables like x and y, and last one is p power. So enter x and y. I can take two separate input. Even I can take okay, enter x first. Let me give it. Enter x and enter y. So two input, I think you know now. So I can do one thing, rather writing these lines once again and again, two separate input. I can take input in the same line even, percentage D and percentage D, and here you have to write percentage x, ampersand x and ampersand y. That's all. Okay, I do not need to write these lines again and again. So what I need to give a message to user, enter x and y. Okay, so by the same line, by the same scanf line, I can take multiple inputs. So if I need another variable, you can write this type of syntax, and here ampersand z. But for the time being, we do not have any third variable, so we can skip it. So we can only take two variable input from user into x and y. Now I need to extract the power. Suppose if anyone gives 5 and 3. So I need to extract, I need to determine 5 to the power 3. So 5 to the power 3 means, I guess it is 125. I'm not sure. I am not good at mathematics. So yeah. So let's see how I will use computer to extract that. So to do that, I need to introduce another header class to do this function. No need to understand what is the meaning of this header class or anything. So I need to a math option. Okay, I need to introduce a math option. So what I will do now, p equals to pow x comma y, means power of x to the power y. Okay, x to the power y, power x y means. So now what I will do, I will use printf. Sorry, the answer is percentage D, and it will be P, the answer. Okay, let me run this program. Okay, enter x and y. Let me give 5. Computer will calculate this for me. And now 3 in the same line input. Okay, scanf. And it is giving 125. Look, it is pretty cool. Okay, so you have to just use this pow function. It is the easiest way to use the power. Okay, just you need to introduce math.h. That's all. Okay, so what else is there in this topic? Enter a number and find the square root. So to find the square root, I need just one number, enter x, or I can write enter a number, and I do not need to take two inputs because I need only one. Suppose anyone gives 25, so it will print 5 because Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 49 is 7. So I need that kind of result. So now what I need to do, again I need some mathematical options. So I need to introduce this include math.h here. So what I need to do, if you know, if you are good in mathematics, you all know 0.5 is the, means something to the power 0.5 is the square root. Means to the power 0.5 means square root of that number. So let's see first what is the result. So suppose if anyone gives a number like 25, it is giving the answer is 5. Okay, because it is the way to find the square root. Power to the power power x comma 0.5. There is another way. If I comment it comment this line out, so I can write another statement like p equals to sqrt. There is another function like that, and I need to write x inside. So that's all. So it will also calculate the square root. So you have to just remember for some classes. Like this is the method POW, SQRT. So we can use it in different ways. So let me give it 49 now. 49 means the square root is 7, right? So one more thing. Suppose if anyone, what will happen if anyone gives the number like 50? Because 50 is having the square root something floating number. So it is still giving 7. So if we want to accommodate the floating point number, what I need to do? So let's revise that thing as well. So I need to take float p to hold the float value, and square root x is enough, and I will just give a percentage f here. So it is not mandatory to declare all the variables with int and float. So whenever it is needed, I will introduce a float. Whenever it is needed to introduce an integer or whole number, I will mention int. That's all. Very simple. Now I think it is making some sense. So let me give 50. Look, it is giving the correct fractional values now. So it is very easy. It is not that tough. Okay. So we are in the last topic right now. So it is swapping values. Swapping values means we have two numbers inside two variables, and you need to swap the variables. Suppose x is holding 10 and y is holding 5. So after doing some stuff, after writing some lines, the value of y will come inside the value of x, and the value of x will goes inside the value of y. That I need to do. So, and it is super important for your exams. Okay, the swapping values. So this is the last program I will do. So let me delete everything. So int x and y, two variables I will require. So I will first quickly take an input from user, enter two numbers, kind of that. Okay, I have done some mistakes, I know. Yeah, I have to give some quotes. Okay, and scanf, I will try to take input by by writing a single line. It is also called single line scanf statement. So anyway, no need to learn the theory right now. So yeah, this is the way to take two inputs. We all know now. So after that, what I will do? So suppose it is not tough at all. So let me draw a picture for you. Make some drawing. I am not good at drawing even, but still. Suppose there is a juice glass. Okay, there is a champagne glass, you can say, or juice glass, and there is a cup of tea. Okay, I know it is not a good drawing, but still you can refer to this. So suppose someone by mistake puts tea inside the champagne glass. Tea inside the champagne glass. Okay, so it is hot tea. Let me give some streams. So it is a hot tea inside the champagne glass, and in the cup there is a champagne. Let me give some bubbles. I know it is very poor drawing, but still. Okay. So anyway, so now, is it impossible to interchange the content of the champagne glass and the cup? Is it really impossible to put the tea back into the back into the uh, cup of tea, and to put the champagne back again into the champagne glass? It is not tough at all. So what I need to do, I need to introduce a third glass. Okay, so what I need to do first, I need to put the tea from the champagne glass to this third glass, right? This is step one. What I need to do next, I need to, because this glass is empty now, so I need to put the champagne back into the champagne glass. So that is the step two, right? And the last step will be, this glass is empty now. This glass is empty now. I need to put the tea back into this cup. So this is the step three. Okay. So the first step is to put the champagne, put the tea inside this glass. Okay. Inside this glass, there is a tea now. Let me write. My handwriting, digital handwriting is also not good. I'm not good at many things, I will say. Yeah. So this is tea. And after that, what I will do, I will put the champagne back into the champagne glass. And the last step will be put the tea inside the cup of tea. So I will do the same thing now. I will introduce a third variable, let it be z. So what I will do, z equals to x. After that, z will take the value of x. Okay. So suppose if I write x equals to 5, what does it mean? What does it mean if I write x equals to 5? 5 goes inside x, or x goes inside 5. What happens? Actually, 5 goes inside x. This thing happens. Means whatever you write, whatever you have written in the right part of the equal sign, that will be inserted into the left part of the equation, right? So same is happening here as well. So okay, let me first clear some drawing. Yeah. So what is happening here? It is just we are putting the content of x inside the content of z. Okay. The next step will be x will take the content of y, and the last step will be y will take the content of the third class, means the z. Okay. Is it clear? First, we are doing the first step, means this champagne glass to the third glass. We are putting tea from champagne glass to the third glass. That is step A, means the content of X has been transferred into Z. What is the second step? Content of Y has been transferred into the glass X, means the second step. The third step is from the third glass, Z has been converted or transferred into Y. So that's all. So what I need to write now, printf, the values are now, the values are percentage D and percentage D. So let me first print the value of X, and after that the value of Y. Okay, so the whatever will be inserted here, the values will be converted. Let's see. Let me run the program. Okay, again I have done some mistakes in print statement. Okay, so enter two numbers. Let me give input like 10 inside x and 5 inside y. Look, but when I am printing x and y, it is giving the reverse values. Means the value of y comes inside x and the value of x comes inside y. So values are 5 and 10. Okay, I think it is clear now. Let me clear all of my drawings. So it will be good after this if you go to the exercise. Okay, go to the exercise. We have a Facebook group. Please join there if you haven't joined. So there is a link of this Facebook group. You will find some exercises here. So let me go to the Facebook page. So this is our Facebook group, the Binary World Computer Science class. So if you go to the photos section, let me go to the album now. In album, you will get album like coding exercise basic. So now if I go inside this album coding exercise basic, you will get some exercise of various chapters, but you can refer to only the first chapter, chapter 1, starting programming. There is 3 pages. So you do not need to go to the next chapter, starting if, because we will cover starting if in our next video or in our next class. So for the time being, you can go through this chapter and try all of the exercise by yourself. And before that, please go through this class once again. Practice all of the programs by your hand in your compiler. Otherwise, it will not be meaningful. Means if you only watch the video and just go to the exercise, it will not work. You have to practice all the programs. If needed, you can pause the video, and if it is needed, you can go back. You can revert it back and see the video again, and you just need to do it by your hand. Okay, that's all. Best of luck. If you face any problem, you can write in the comment section of this video, or you can reach out to me using my email ID. That's all. Best of luck. See you in the next video.